Everybody, Sean here, and today I want to make a video about a topic I hold very near and dear to me, and hopefully I can shed some light on it and help you give it a try and maybe be a little more successful with this practice. So obviously by the title of the video you can tell that this video is going to be about meditation. It's going to be the first video in a series of videos that I want to start recording and start sharing and shedding light on this subject because it's something that I care a lot about and that frankly I do every day. I've been doing it for about the last 6 years now, and I have a pretty interesting backstory on how I got into it in the first place, which I would love to share maybe in the next video. That'll be the next one that I do. I'll share how I got into it, why I got into it, and all that so that you can better understand my history with meditation. But I definitely have some things that I want to share that hopefully will help you. So to get started, what I consider the definition of meditation is the practice of nothing, I guess is a good way to describe it. And by the way, this video is off the cuff. I have a lot of experience and knowledge, I guess, floating around in my head about these things. So I'm trying to share with you, but if I stop and think for a second, it's because I haven't really planned this out. And I'm going to be just talking to you, hopefully, and being able to create good content and flow as I go. So we'll see how it goes. Now, the art of the practice of nothing is meditation, because when you're meditating, what you really are trying to do is get your mind to a place where it's no longer thinking on its own. Because there are things in the world like the media, the television, ads, marketing, things out there that kind of like, I'm going to call it static. So it's like static information that is always being bombarded into us, and it kind of formulates thoughts in our heads like that you can't really control. You're always kind of thinking about future situations, thinking about things you need to get, things you need to buy, problems that either have happened or will happen, and you're running through these things in your head kind of like on autopilot, which is called, well, I'm going to call it static. All of that is static because you're not really in control, and if you really wanted to not have these thoughts, you're kind of like having them anyway, whether you want to or not. Now, that thought is completely influenced by your surroundings and the fact that you don't think you have control over shutting them off. So meditation is getting rid of that static. So I'm gonna have a metaphor for you, a little bit of a U, okay? Let's just think of a U. Now, all the static thought is over here. When you meditate, you want to lower all of that static and get down to zero. It's a zero down here. And this is your mind, what it thinks. So you're going to quiet all of this static thought, get to zero, and hang out here. And ideally, that is what meditation is. You want to get to that zero and sit there and just hang out for the time frame that you've allotted for your meditation session that day. Now, people get frustrated quickly because shutting off that static when you're fresh into the practice is very hard to do, and it's very frustrating when you can't do it. So I'm going to give you two big pointers that set you up for success right off the bat, that I use every time I meditate, and I think they really help, and they're a big deal to me. They put your mind in the right spot for success off the bat. Now, I'm going to complete the analogy of the U for you real quick. So when you shut off the static energy, the static thought, and you can get to a place where you're at zero, you'll notice that when you're meditating at zero, you have other thoughts that arise, and they come out organically of this place where you're not forcing anything, and you come to find out that these are the thoughts that actually really resonate with who you actually are, what you really want, not influenced by ads or by anything out there. Everyone's got different influencers, the things that resonate with you when you see them out in the world. But when you can shut all of that off, get to zero, and then organically have thoughts that are actually yours. It's called grounded thought. And these are where people have epiphanies, people solve issues while they're meditating, where they have revelations, is where they get rid of all the static, they get to zero, they hang out there, they're not expecting anything out of it. The goal is to just hang out at zero and just be grateful that you can sit in a place where nothing's bugging you and you're just like content. And then out of that, sometimes you have a thought like, I should be doing this, or why is this way? And like that's the grounded thought that comes out, and it feels very real, and you can tell when it's a real thought, and you're like, this is who I actually am, this is what I actually think. I can't believe I thought this way, but you thought. So like you're overthinking things in the static area. Grounded things, as soon as you have the thought on this side of the you, it's just like immediate. It's just like, yes. You know what I mean? So I hope that illustrates this little you metaphor that I like to use. Now, into the tips. When you go to sit down to actually start meditating, the first thing that I love and that I do think about right off the get-go is that nothing needs to happen. So freeing in and of itself. If you get it right off the bat, then that's great. But I'm going to explain it to you. So nothing actually has to happen. You get to go sit down somewhere for 15, 20, 30, however long you're going to do, and you get to just sit. Nothing has to happen. You don't have to solve anything. You don't have to answer an email. You don't have to look at your phone. You don't have to do anything. You get to just sit somewhere for 20 minutes and nothing has to happen. You don't even have to get to zero. Just the fact that you sat down, took 20 minutes out of your day, sat somewhere and didn't move is a win. You did that for you. Not many people take time out of their day for themselves. So even if, worst case scenario, you can't get out of your static thought and you just sit there thinking the whole time, you still took your 20 minutes. You still did it. Every time you meditate, it's going to get easier and easier, and you just can't not build the habit. So you're building the habit, so that's a win. You sit down, that's a win. So nothing has to happen. And when you think that way and you know nothing has to happen, things happen because you're not forcing anything. It's like, a good way to explain it is like falling asleep. You don't go to sleep. You're not like going to sleep. You fall asleep. You allow it to happen. So when you're sitting somewhere meditating, really you're allowing yourself to nothing. And I'm using nothing as a verb there. You're trying to do nothing. Think nothing, be nothing, and sit and just like breathe. So that was huge for me, because in the beginning I used to sit down thinking I had to shut off my mind, I had to calm down, I had to do blah blah blah, and then realizing that nothing actually has to happen, and I already won just for sitting there for 20 minutes, and I do that every day. It's going to get easier. Setting yourself up for success right off the bat, and it tends to actually let things happen more, because you're not actually trying to do anything. You're shifting from trying to allowing, which was huge for me. So that's the first tip that I wanted to bring to your attention. Hopefully that helps and resonates with you to some extent. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about when you're going into it is that you're going to have thoughts. You're not going to be able to have no thoughts. It's just very impossible. It's very hard. I've had sessions where I've been extremely present and just felt dialed in right at that zero for a long period of time, but it's never been the whole 20 minutes, and it's just things are going to come and go. Now, when you realize you're going to have thoughts, the tip, I'm going to call it the train tip. Now, imagine you're on a train. Follow me on this metaphor. Imagine you're on a train and there's trees flying by. You're looking out the window. You're sitting on a train looking out the window, and there's a tree that goes by. And there's another tree that goes by. These are your thoughts. When the trees go by and you're on a train, you're not going to reach your hand out the window, grab a tree, and like hold on to it because you're going to get killed. You go, oh wow, that's a tree, that's pretty cool. Oh, there it goes, see you later, tree. And you come back. Oh, look, there's another tree. Oh, wow, look at that tree. Oh, see you later. And then you come back. So you're going to have thoughts. They're going to be running through your head. Never hold on to a thought. It may take a while, but as soon as you're like, oh, I've been thinking about this for the past 2 minutes, dang it, let it go and then go back to zero. Sometimes it may take 5 minutes to realize you're thinking, but try to be aware of letting things go as they come. A thought comes in, you go, oh, wow, I should be paying this bill by this date. Oh, there it goes, let it go, back to zero. You know what I mean? So that was super helpful. The first time I realized that, because even when you get caught in thought, say however long it takes, 2 minutes later, you realize you're thinking about it, you can go, oh, I got caught holding onto a tree, laugh, let it go. Don't get upset about it because you know it's supposed to happen. That's just how it is. You're rewiring your brain to be able to realize that it has to chill when you want it to. Now, those two things are huge. I hope they help you guys. If you guys have any questions about meditation, feel free to comment below and ask them. Hopefully this helps you. If you already think this way, comment below and let me know. And subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be making all kinds of new meditation stuff. I'm going to try to make this a topic that I talk about more because I care about it.